For more than a century, the Pension Boards has provided for those who serve our United Church of Christ. Operating at the intersection of faith and finance, we have responded to changes in our economy, our culture, and our church. Now with coming waves of challenges for many in our family, we choose once more to act boldly so as to shape the future of the church and how we care for one another in it. The Generations of Service, Faith and Finance in Action $20 million capital funds campaign is designed to meet the needs of clergy and lay church workers now and into the future.
When I retired, I had a whole lifetime of good health. And so when I retired, I thought, this is going to be my time of life to really enjoy life and have time and so forth. But I had these chest pains. I didn't know what to expect, but they did an EKG, and within 15 minutes there was a cardiologist there saying, you have the real thing. And he said, if you had had a heart attack, which I didn't, he said, if this is called the widowmaker, you probably would have died. But all of that isn't usually factored in when you retire, that you're going to have all these medical expenses. And even though I thought maybe I could weather that, I was so grateful that I have insurance from the pension board. After that, it turns out I had prostate cancer and needed to go through radiation. And it was like, I can't believe this is happening. And yet it was happening. The assistance that I got from the pension boards meant the world to me.
My wife Elizabeth was a pastor of a small church outside Boston. I was in graduate school, and we already had one child, our daughter, who was not yet 2 years old, and we were expecting a second child. Well, it turned out that second child was twins and came 8 weeks early, and so Tom and Chuck were in the hospital for a month and a half, 2 months, a lot of medical expenses. Elizabeth was full-time pastor, but her salary was not quite enough to cover the expenses. And the ministerial assistance was so helpful in giving us a grant that allowed us to remain financially solvent and to come through that experience as well as we were able to.
I applied to NGLI when I was just finishing my first year of ministry out of seminary. I was by far the youngest person serving in ministry. Local peers were thinking of ending their career, and I was thinking about how can we transform the church? And so I was looking for thought partners and people who were interested in the same kinds of transformational work that I knew the church was capable of. It feels like every year I've been in NGLI has tracked along with exactly what I have needed in terms of tools and tactics to be able to do the work that I know God is calling me to do.
My one life-changing takeaway experience for Credo is self-care. I had about 3 colleagues of mine pass in like 12-month period. And it was really shocking to me because of the nature of their deaths, and it was a wake-up call to say, hey, it's important that I take care of myself so I can pour out to others in which I care for.
I invite you to join me in learning more about Generations of Service, Faith and Finance in Action.